Well, Biden's vaccine mandates are leaving our country vulnerable, weakening our military, hospitals, many critical institutions. Will Biden realize the terrible impact of his unconstitutional mandates in 2022? Joining us now is Mercedes Schlapp, former White House Strategic Communications Director, and Jason Chaffetz, former Utah Congressman and a Fox News contributor. Wonderful to see you both. Happy New Year. Mercy, first to you, if I could. This week, we got a strange kind of pivot, at least in language, by President Biden, suggesting that states should control their dealing with the pandemic and the feds should move back. This happening without pulling back on the vaccine mandates from the federal government. And when we get word from Florida that the federal government with the Biden administration is pushing them not to take monoclonal antibodies, which they need.
Yeah, no question that, first of all, we're hoping for a very happy new year, because God only knows 2021 has been brutal for the American people under the Biden leadership or lack of leadership. Look, I think we all were caught off guard when you saw President Biden say that there is no federal solution to this, that it's up to the states. He campaigned on coming up with a coordinated national response. That hasn't happened. I got to tell you, watching this from the outside, I mean, I've worked in 2 White Houses where it's so critical to bring together the agencies, be able to coordinate with your different states, and yet that has failed to happen, knowing that Omicron was on its way to the United States, knowing what we were seeing in countries like South Africa and in Europe, and the mere fact that we were unprepared as a nation, where you have individuals standing in line where you can't even get an appointment to get a COVID-19 test. It's causing an enormous amount of stress on our country. On top of that, these forced vaccine mandates, it's a pressure cooker. And I got to tell you, everyone's watching very clearly what's going to happen with the Supreme Court and the hearings on January 7th, because it's really getting to a point that I think the American people are saying, where's the plan? And it's knowing that nothing has come together.
And Jason, it is a national security issue now, because the military is having a lot of trouble keeping people who want an exception to the vaccine mandates. The Marines in particular, and I'm very partial to the Marines because I got a family member who's a member of the Marines, and they only admit to 159 discharges because of Marines who won't take vaccines. But I have indications. I've done a sort of an informal search of various Marine bases indicating it's a lot more than that. Thousands of Marines have asked for exemptions. Not one has been approved for religious purposes. Not one. So we are endangering one of the strongest forces in our military, the Marines.
We entrust our Marines to take care and protect the United States of America, and I got to believe that we should be able to entrust them to take care of themselves. There are a lot of legitimate reasons why you wouldn't take this. Perhaps you've already had COVID and you feel like you don't need it. And so that idea of natural immunity, what bothers me here, and it's exactly what Mercedes is saying. We have a president without a plan. He said he was going to have a plan. I like what Jim Jordan has been saying, the congressman from Ohio. If the Biden plan is working, then why isn't it working? It's because, A, he doesn't have a plan, and you can't just throw up your arms and say, hey, you know what? I forgot to order the test kits. Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. I mean, that's just not the way to run a country. No. And for them to say up and down the line that they couldn't see this coming, everybody knows that. Third grader in science class knows that it's coming.
Yeah, well, and particularly when you saw what was happening in Africa, we were getting a lot of information weeks before it hit here in the United States. But again, you compare what happened during the Trump administration, not just Operation Warp Speed, Mercy, but also the extraordinary efforts by President Trump to go out of his way to help blue states like New York to get the hospital ship in here, to set up tent hospitals in Central Park and in Javits Center. It's extraordinary. But there's another dimension, Mercy, which is that their friends, the Biden administration's friends at Twitter, have just censored another person, a doctor who was actually instrumental in inventing the mRNA vaccine against COVID, Dr. Robert Malone. He's now been censored from Twitter. It's extraordinary how this cabal of people who have one idea won't let other ideas flourish.
Right, and the good news is Robert Malone is going to be on with Joe Rogan, and God only knows he's going to get millions of views and only grow in popularity because he's going to be able to use these other type of outlets to get his message out. But let me tell you, it is very, very disappointing. We've seen this time and time again with big tech, with Twitter, where they don't allow for dissenting opinions, where they don't allow individuals and qualified doctors like Dr. Malone to question the current science. As we know, this shifting science that Dr. Fauci and the CDC continue to change. For example, going from 10 days to 5 days, because why not? We got to keep the society running. There's no science behind it. And so let me tell you, when Dr. Malone came out with the video basically saying, don't get your kids vaccinated, and this is why, and he gave his opinion, his medical opinion. Parents should have the right to listen to that. Parents should have the right to make the best decisions for their family and for the kids. And this, again, is another outrageous action by big tech.
Attack on the free market of ideas, which is instrumental to the way things work in this country. And Jason, I'm just wondering if in 2022 we're going to see a continued backlash against the kind of wokeness that Twitter exemplifies. We have, for example, in Minnesota, we had this incredible thing where the school board voted to pay non-white teachers who were doing the same thing that white teachers were doing, paying the non-white teachers more to correct equity or whatever. Now they're being accused, and I think rightly so, of racism for doing that. So is this backlash against wokeness going to continue in the next year?
I hope so. We're a country, we're moving backwards if you're moving towards segregation. That is not what the American people are expecting from the Democratic Party in moving forward. And so we should be about freedom and liberty and self-determination and empowering people so that everybody has a chance at the American dream. But when you immediately segregate people and say, hey, come over here, get under the light, I need to see the color of your skin, and then we're going to make a determination as to what you can do and what we're going to pay you. I mean, that's just, I can't believe that. If you go back 6-10 years and we said we were going to start doing that, everybody would say, you're nuts.
It's extraordinary.
That's not who the United States of America is.
No, it isn't. And you know, Mercy, the thing is, all this wokeness, which they had thought would probably be appreciated by one group that they were depending on for decades, if not generations, the Hispanic voter in America, it's backfired. The Hispanic voters don't like it. In fact, Democrats have been losing a lot of the Hispanic vote. Right now, 54% disapproval of the Biden administration by Hispanic voters. 54%. I think the number of Hispanic voters who define themselves as Democrats is now dead even with Republicans.
Right, that is significant. I've been following his trends on Hispanic voters for decades, and just watching them move to more of a swing voter area where they're becoming more independent because they're looking at the Democrats and saying, wait a second, what do they stand for? They stand for exactly the principles that we tried to get away from socialism, from this authoritarian control over our lives, for the mere fact that they're pushing radical agenda items like critical race theory and gender confusion at the age of 5 years old, and really stepping on our traditional values. And so I think that's why you're seeing so much of the shift happen. Look, Hispanics, they're not monolithic, but I got to tell you, they vote on their pocketbook issues primarily. It's not immigration.
Right.
And so in terms of the economy, it's a big issue for them in terms of having greater opportunities for themselves and for their children.
Well, I got to say, I think even on immigration, they're less supportive of Biden and the policies that preceded Biden, because most Hispanics who come here like the idea of a border. They had to go through hell in order to become citizens or get a green card, and they don't like the idea of people jumping the line just by walking across the border. Jason, I owe you one. We got to jump. Jason, Mercedes, great to see you. Happy New Year to you both and to your families.
Happy
God bless you both.